Yesterday night before going to bed I watched Drifter's latest video. It was on how to fix Call of Duty because he claims that Call of Duty is a broken game, that he has been slipping down a dangerous road of degrading, of having a really worst game every single year since basically the release of COD 4, which is so far the most popular Call of Duty ever released. You know, the peak, along with COD 4, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2, those were the peaks. Then it was like Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and all the other titles. And of course, you know, something has changed. Something must have been changed because, you know, sales have been decreasing. And while there are companies like Sledgehammer that they claim that they have sold an incredible amount of copies of Advanced Warfare, I strongly believe that the game has, you know, it has started to lose something as soon as, you know, after Black Ops 2. And he came up with different ideas of why this might have happened, you know, different problems that he noticed with Call of Duty, and some of which I do agree with, because this is the kind of video that I was thinking of doing for a long time. So he first mentions that the biggest problem so far with Call of Duty, especially with players that, you know, buy the game every single year, and that just like me or just like you that are watching the video are, let's put it this way, above the average, simply because we interact with the Call of Duty community or board or anything that has to do with Call of Duty more. You know, we don't limit ourselves to just playing the game in a casual level. We actually try to improve the game, or try to improve, you know, to get better at the game. For that reason, he was like, one of the biggest problems for people like this are spawns, because we noticed with like Call of Duty Ghost, that's when it was released, the spawns were awful, like mind-blowing awful. I remember that I was going for like KM strikes the first like couple of days that it was out on PC, because I was still playing on PC, and I would kill people and be on like a 20 kill streak, and then someone would literally spawn like literally 2 meters behind me and kill me. Those were called like revenge spawns or shit like that, and they were incredibly frustrating, to a point in which I just surrendered. I knew that it doesn't matter what I tried to do, I would always get shot from the back, which it's something that really, you know, brought me to change Call of Duty and to go back to play Black Ops 2, because frankly Black Ops 2, it's a lot funnier game. But talking about spawns, I think that the best solution in that case would be to wait 3 seconds after each kill to establish a better spawn. We noticed that in Advanced Warfare spawns are kind of shitty, but that's mostly because they tried to adapt the past spawn selection from past Call of Duties into Advanced Warfare, but of course Advanced Warfare with all the exosuits and the X movements, it's a lot faster. So to predict a safe spawn in which the player can spawn in and safely, you know, go back to the action in a couple of seconds, it's really hard, like extremely hard. So for that reason, I'm not mad at Sledgehammer for having like decently bad spawns in their game, because it's understandable. They try their best, but of course they're working on something that was created for past Call of Duties in which the exosuit were not there. In fact, if you go and play the no exo playlist on Advanced Warfare, it's a lot better. You will never ever be flanked from the back if you're a decent player. You will never ever find yourself aiming down side in a common spawn and see a player spawning there, because the game understands, has enough time and enough, you know, power to understand that that is not a safe spawn, that would be an unfair spawn basically. For that reason, I was thinking of like a solution to fix this kind of things, and as I said before, I came up with this thing, which is basically to wait 3 seconds after each kill to establish a better spawn, a safer spawn. And I know that this will, you know, might prevent spawn trapping, which is against my logic, because I love to pop stomp and I love to like spawn trap people. But yet, if that makes me, you know, gives me the possibility to simply outgun and outplay people without getting shot in the back, I'm all down for it, bro. Like seriously, no problema whatsoever. But the problem is that by allowing 3 seconds after each kill, so that the engine establishes a better spawn where to spawn, the game would feel a lot slower, because it's not immediate. You will not be spawned immediately into the action. There will be a 3 seconds delay, which is massive, considering that Call of Duty, basically the reason why Call of Duty is so famous is because it's always so frenetic. It's always so back to the action in less than a couple of seconds. In fact, if you don't watch the kill cam, you get killed, and you know, on the Xbox you press X, and on the PlayStation you press square, I believe. You're simply basically spawned back in the frenetic action, which is something amazing, and I love that, because it gives me the opportunity to simply, you know, don't lose time and get to use all of what I paid, all of the video game that I paid for. The second issue brought up by Drifter was the lag compensation. We all know that lag has been a really massive issue with Call of Duty, and I believe that the best Call of Duty app today that had like zero lag or like a really low lag in terms of milliseconds, you know, ping and that kind of stuff. I come from the PC community. In PC we can know more or less what is our ping when we connect to a lobby, and to the point in which on Black Ops 2 I simply selected that I didn't want to join a lobby if the ping that I would have had in the lobby was above 60 or 70 milliseconds, because that for a first-person shooter game, that is awful. That is incredibly awful. And of course this kind of stuff happened, you know, after Call of Duty basically moved to almost only console, and that's something that I will address also later. But for the lag compensation issue, there is not really that much that we can do, because as Drifter said, there is a mod for Call of Duty 4 on PC in which you can basically connect to a server and play with no lag compensation whatsoever. Which means that whatever your ping is on your connection is the ping that you will have playing on that server, so to speak. But he also noticed that playing according to these rules with no ping whatsoever, with no, you know, lag compensation whatsoever, the match will be awful. Because Call of Duty is also so famous because it's cross-platform and you don't need a crazy super amazing connection. You can play with a fucking really shitty connection, as he says, a McDonald's connection, or you can play with a godly connection like a Google Fiber. It doesn't matter, you will basically have the same chances more or less of killing someone. For that reason, there is no solution to that compensation. The only thing that we can, you know, try to bring the companies that produce Call of Duty like Activision, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, whatever, is to work a little bit better on lag compensation. And personally, Ghost was a perfect example of decently good lag compensation, because that game was boring for sure, like easily boring, but when it comes to like bullet registration and lag compensation, that game was really good. That's one of the only few, like, couple of reasons why I kind of enjoyed that game, was because if I shot the guy, I could kill the guy fairly easily, simply because the lag compensation was well optimized. Another big point that, you know, a point in which I kind of feel really close to is that the reason why Call of Duty has been going down a really dangerous road of like losing players and losing people year after year is simply because one of the reasons for sure is that the PC port of the game is absolute shit. I mean, Call of Duty Ghost, you could have the craziest, like $900 couple of graphics card in your computer, it doesn't matter what power you had, the game would still lag. The game would still lag, like really badly lag. And on Advanced Warfare, there were simply maps in which you couldn't load, or for some weird reason, because of drivers or graphic card in general, you basically will load 10 seconds or 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds sometimes already into the game, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Because for a game that, as I said before, Call of Duty, it's so fast-paced, and the reason why it's so good is that it brings you into the action so fast. The fact that you had to wait on the loading screen for so much time is so frustrating to a new level. For that reason, please, companies out there, like the only reason why I moved to console is simply because the PC community was basically dead when it comes to Call of Duty. When it comes to Minecraft, it's fucking mind-blowing how many people play Minecraft on PC. But talking about Call of Duty, the amount of people that simply sort of rage quitted their way out of Call of Duty, it's mind-blowing. Seriously, I'm seriously disappointed on, you know, gaming companies and that kind of stuff, because I love the PC community. I was a PC player and I still am. I just don't play Call of Duty on PC. I play CSGO, I play a lot of, like a shit ton of different games on PC, and I love PC. I find it so fucking good and so fucking rewarding when you're better than someone else, because you're able to move your mouse, or you know, you have better reflexes on these free fucking, when you have better reflexes on these free fucking fingers, you know, WASD, WASD, or something like that. Like seriously, it's so much rewarding, better rewarding than, for, in my opinion at least, but you gotta remember that I come from the PC community, than, you know, killing someone with a controller. I don't know, it feels so much true, or like raw. It's so much better, it feels so much better. The last problem that Drifter came up with, that he noticed, was that recently, like most of the Call of Duty titles came up with really bad bugs and glitches. Like extremely bad. We can go back to Black Ops 2, in which the connection was absolutely shit. when it comes to console for like the first couple of weeks, because the game was not tested on. We can go back to Ghost, in which basically the dog was fucking OP as shit. You could be on the opposite, let's put it this way, if you spawned here, you had your dog here, and then you died and you spawned on the opposite side of the map, the dog will literally go through the entire map, kill fucking 10 enemies, and then come at you. And I'm like, that's mind-blowing. How come a developer couldn't have noticed that? And of course I don't have the knowledge to, you know, tell developers, hey, you know, you're not doing your job the right way, so by any means don't quote me on this. But seriously, how difficult could it be to simply release a beta version of the game? We all know Call of Duty, Call of Duty is the kind of game that it's addictive, and people keep on buying it year after year simply because, you know, it's Call of Duty. It has Call of Duty written on it, and for that reason we're like, oh yeah, it's Call of Duty, I want to buy it, I need to buy it. Maybe this year they fix the problem, and we buy it for the with the intention that maybe, with the hope that maybe they actually fix the problems that we saw in the previous Call of Duty. We saw that they didn't fix them, or that most of them were not fixed, but yeah, we can still play because Call of Duty is such a big, colossal game. For that reason, I sincerely doubt that releasing, you know, a beta version of the game, just like Battlefield did for Battlefield Hardline on the Xbox One, the PC, the PlayStation 4, and that kind of stuff, it would solve so many issues. I mean, you could have bugs and glitches report literally 4 months before the game was released. You could simply state in the fucking loading screen that what you're gonna be playing is not 100% what you're gonna be paying for. Yet, you know, in case you want to absolutely secure the sales for the game, simply say that if you want to play the beta version of the game, you gotta pre-order the game. That's it. Pre-order the game, you can play the beta version, and maybe, you know, get some like bullshitty gadgets like we always do on Call of Duty. But like seriously, it would solve so many issues. First of all, you would be able to test the connection, to test the lag compensation, if it's working, if it's not working. You would be able to test the hit detection, hit markers, and that kind of stuff. If you will be able to test basically if people are able to glitch through walls, like we saw in Advanced Warfare, also in League play, bro. That was mind-blowing. I got so pissed because I was playing S&D and on the map Horizon, and then there would be people glitching through the maps and killing and I wouldn't even see them, because they would see me through the building, and I would basically see the building, and I couldn't shoot them, which is mind-blowing for a game that is so big, and that took so many years to be developed, and that a game that it costs so much. I mean, literally, AAA title games this year, like in the past few years, like GTA 5, like Call of Duty, like Battlefield, and that kind of games, they cost almost as much, if not even more, than a fucking AAA title movie, you know, like, I don't know, Mission Impossible 3 or that kind of stuff, that, like a big ass movie. They almost cost the same. Okay, so I don't see why can these problems, or, you know, defects, or whatever you want to call them, be solved pretty damn easily, because in my opinion they can be solved, and, you know, they could be solved if they could, you know, adopt the solutions that I propose in this video. Hey, homie, if you do disagree with what I just said, please be sure to, you know, tell me in the comment. Maybe, you know, for some weird reason a developer will come here, or maybe not even a developer, because developers don't have that much saying into a game, which is weird considering that they are creating it. But, you know, it's maybe someone that is related to these gaming companies on a managerial point of view, managerial level, would actually come across this video, and they will be like, oh dude, you know, this motherfucker is not that wrong when he says this kind of shit. And seriously, bro, like, if you feel like something else could be improved, write it down in the comments. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye. That voice crack though.